Hey everybody, it's Lawler. What's up, YouTube? How you guys doing? We've got an NA recap for you guys all today. Our top 16 teams, as well as the matches you're going to be seeing on Friday, all broken down for y'all in today's video. We're going to quickly go through Group A and Group B, our top 32, competing and trying to find out who our top 16 are. And then I also will show you guys the math on how we have found our top 16 matchups. With that said, let's jump straight into it. We're going to start with Group A and get into Group B. Some pretty big and crazy upsets across the board. First things first. Two teams at the top going 3-0. NRG, which is expected. Glad to see them bouncing back. Close game 5 against Shopify. And one may not expect. It's Team Evo. Speed in the boys. Speed, Arju, and Relating Wave. The collegiate imports coming in and going 3-0. Very happy for them. If you guys don't remember, they actually had a really close series against NRG last time. I will say NRG was faltering a little bit, but once they realized that they should actually play the game, their words, not mine, they were actually pretty competitive. So they did have a very close series against a threatening deleted gaming team that they ended up winning in game 5 against. We can talk about kind of the topsy-turvy. We watched the CJ show quite a bit. And for Shopify Rebellion, the only consistent thing about that team is how inconsistent they are. One moment they look amazing. The other moment they look like they don't know how to play the game of Rocket League. It is heartbreaking. It is a constant pulling out of hair, heart attack. Like, you are aging as you watch this team. I don't know what it is. As for 9 Lives, a little bit of a tough start. They came out of the gate and systematically got kind of dismantled by Strictly Business, who just had an answer for everything they were trying to do. I will say, no longer just it's Kofer and friends. You started seeing a lot more information being provided between like a ground pinch pass midfield and a lot of good things from 9 Lives, and they rightfully so adjust. They end up going through and beating that deleted team as well, who has been a very much so epitome of, we're going to rotate, we're going to do our thing. I made when we watched their match, a comparison to like Andy being Fireburner of Energy in the past when he was Golden Striker, which is like, play's going to develop. I'm going to make sure that I'm in the right position to slam this in and place it well. And it's been working really well for them. Their offense is pretty locked down. It's actually really exciting to watch. A lot of people, I think, going to be surprised by the deleted team systematically approaching the game. Will that be enough? Because when it comes to individual talent, they definitely get outclassed a little bit. So very excited to see whatever their system, whatever their format, whatever their structure is, it has been working quite well. And they do look like a very competitive team. With that in mind, though, they are losing very close games to teams that they need to be beating if they want to have a chance to go to the major. They can't be conceding to teams like Evo and 9 Lives because both those teams are going to be fighting for that top 4, top 6 spot. So got to separate if they're going to do it. Ultimately, they do end up beating WebTub to qualify. Outside of that, 2 names you're not going to be familiar with, Woo and Was Up. If you guys don't know Woo, full French import team with Kasai, Force, and Parka that make it through, and then Was Up. The big thing to talk about here, Expert and Drewy have been around for a really long time, but if you guys do not know Life and his life story, 14-year-old kid who got discovered around like 12, 13. He was a Switch player. The community, when he started streaming at 13, raised enough funds for him to buy a PC, and now he is a top 16 team on a top 16 in North American RLCS. It's a very cool storyline. Very happy for Life. Congratulations to him making it into his first ever top 16 in an open event. Pretty dope. So What's Up and Woo do make it through. Strictly Business. I don't even want to get into it. It was frustrating. I don't know if it was a mental thing or what, but the guys basically looked like they gave up at times. And then they would come out of the gate swinging and dominate a team. And then the same thing started to happen when they were playing Was Up. And then they fell apart in game 5. So frustrating results for them. They are not going to make it through. Gas also not making their return with Garrett, Squishy, and AJ. On the low side, as expected, I would say in this group, except for one thing, and you can kind of see it if you recognize it right out of the gate. Complexity and Ultimates being your 1-2, I think makes sense. Obviously, Ultimates had a pretty unfortunate result last time. They are trying to punch back into top 4, where we expect them. Gen G went through 3-1, which is where we have them. The one thing that we don't have there is Space Station, because for whatever reason, Space Station, after going 2nd place, did not make top 16. Lotus 8, a team that many are unfamiliar with, had a worldy of a start. Took down Pobe in an upset, take down Space Station upset. After they take down Space Station, one of their players decided to have some choice words for the organization, some hand gestures, and some statements towards Scribbles. And then after absolutely peaking, they go 0-9. Call it karma, call it whatever you want. But when your mental is super, super high and then the antithesis happens, pretty rough, dude. Pretty rough. As for Space Station, we did see a tweet from Frosty stating that he was freestyling and not taking this match seriously. And then after that, the pressure is on, the teams get harder, and they just eventually mental got the best of them. And with young kids, that is the reality of things, is you cannot take things lightly. At the same time, if I'm Space Station Gaming, I am livid. When my team is admitting we were messing around, we were joking, we weren't taking things seriously, you get one warning if I'm Space Station, and then I say, if you do it again, you're gone. You're off the team, man. Like, I'm sorry for how much these orgs are in a financial burden being in this title at the current moment. Then you find out that, hey, this team we took a risk on for potential young kids and stuff, and all of a sudden the immaturity is there. It's like, kind of get what you pay for, but at the same time, it's like, dude, you are literally pooping out on opportunity. The good thing that came out of it, though, is Pioneers, JNAPS and them are back. Did not make top 16 last time. They made it in this time, in the very last situation. Unfortunately, it is Space Station that gets bumped out, but JNAP's back in. W. Outside of that, things as expected. Most of these teams, I think, are kind of in that conversation piece. There's conversations of the guys on Tortuga with Cam and Flitz possibly retiring. Almost Nuts. They brought in Kevin, who we got to know from the Apex. Unfortunately, falling short for those guys, but outside of that, I think things pretty much as expected. Some new names like Tree Lamp that most people are going to have no idea who that is, and that's totally fine. You would not be the only one, but Devo, Boro, and Swaz, maybe they play upset. Maybe they turn some heads. The double elimination GSL bracket is one that a lot of people go, okay, well, what the heck? Who's playing who? Luckily for me, I know because I did the math. If you guys haven't seen it, if I can find it, this is the seeding situation for the tournament. The way that it works in comparison, first things first, not the Devo, guys. Not the Devo, different Devo. We take all the teams and we put them into their brackets respectively. If they went 3-0, 3-1, 3-2, and because they are all tied, Scott subs to the channel.
Hey, brother. Headed to the pool, but wanted
Why
to
you gotta
stop
flex
in
on
and
us, Scott?
say hey.
Why you gotta flex on us? Scott, shout outs to you, sir. Thank you for the 48 months. Much love. With that in mind, so we've got 3-0s, 3-1s, and 3-2s. They're all tied. So we then go to the next tiebreaker, which is your bushels seeding. The thing is we don't really have to worry about initial seeds and tiebreakers, because the way that it works and the way we broke this down for North America and EU last time is what they will end up doing, just as an explanation for everybody, is they will go from group to group and compare head to head. So Complexity is right now the #1 team in their group. So they're going to go look at the next #1 team in the group and say, okay, you guys are the #1. We're the #1. How did you do? Energy has a bushels of 1, which is taking all the teams they played, and they're going to compare that to Complexity, who had a +5. 5 is greater than 1. Crazy, quick maths. Which means that Complexity is your #1 seed, and Energy is your #2 seed. So we plug them in. #1 is Complexity, #2 is Energy. And we do that down the list. Ultimates versus Evo. Evo has 0. Ultimates has -4. Ultimates had a pretty easy run, it looks like. So because of that, Evo's your 3 seed. Ultimates is your 4 seed. Shopify is 2. Gen G is 0. So this is your 5 seed. This is your 6 seed. And we do that over and over and over again until we find out all the matches, which then gives us this. So your top half. So these teams are going to be filled in here. So it'll be Complexity versus Was Up, Talladega versus Pobe, Team Evo versus Woo, Shopify Rebellion versus Nether Lamera Canada, and then on the other side of the bracket, it's going to be Energy versus Tree Lamp, 9 Lives versus Ultimates, or 9 Lives versus Omelette, Ultimates versus Pioneers, and then Gen G versus Deleted. That side of the bracket is pretty spook town. You even saw Wavy at one point be like, hey man, hopefully by us going through round 5, we don't have to deal with the gauntlet. And then they go, here's the gauntlet, buddy. So you got to play what is essentially a top 6 team. Then you play the winner, which is likely to be Ultimates, which is a top 2 team, many would assume. And then your result after that is hopefully a top 6 favorite, but it's probably unlikely. So yeah, it's going to be pretty tough. On the other side, I think if you're Team Evo, you probably should beat Woo and then Shopify, Nether Lamera Canada. Shopify can be hit and miss. They can be great. They can be terrible. You never know. It is going to be a possibility for you guys to get a guaranteed top 6 of your team Evo. I'm sure Risky and those guys are feeling pretty dang happy about that. Complexity on the other side, though, I think their biggest competition is probably going to be Pobe. Good opportunity for Pobe. So, yeah, Bushels for a lot of people has been like, why has it always been one-sided? What is going on? But yeah, those are your matches. I am extremely confident in those. The math checks out. I think you guys should be happy about those. And I will continue to try to do that every single week. As soon as we get our top 16 match, I will make sure I follow up with the results immediately after. So that is what we have. That is what I've got. That is what we are doing for our North America stuff. Those matches will go down on Friday at 1 p.m. Eastern to start. So you guys have an expectation on when those go on. Before we get to those, we'll make sure we do predictions and all that kind of stuff as well. But that is going to do it for today's video. If you guys do have any additional questions, comments, concerns, let me know in the comments down below. If you guys want links to stuff like the roster document, that is in the description down below as well. And if you guys enjoy the content, like, subscribe, notifications, hit up the subscriptions. Helps me out greatly as we try to climb to 55K. We'll make the goal a little bit more realistic than 100K. But it's going to do it. We'll catch you in the next one. Peace.